All right, guys, in today's episode of Things Every Homeowner Should Know, and today I want to talk about your home's electrical system. And if you remember previously, I said you need to leave this area open, right? You should never have boxes or anything stacked against your electrical panel, and there should always be a clear path to your electrical panel. And here's why. This right here at the top of your electrical panel is your main shutoff. And if there's a fire or some kind of an emergency and you need to turn the power off to this home quickly, you need to be able to get from wherever you are in the house or outside to get straight to this shutoff so that you can turn the power off. So leave this area open. I know you may never need to access this, but if you do, when the time comes, you need to be able to get to it. All right, so if you look in here, you basically have your breakers over here. This is your ledger. Hopefully yours is accurate. And this is going to tell you what all of these breakers do or what they're connected to. You have your bigger breakers here that run things like your water heater and your air conditioner. Maybe you have some pool equipment or something like that. You have your regular breakers down here that are running things like lights and outlets. Now, this here, these are a arc fault interrupt. You might also have ground fault interrupt breakers actually inside your box that might take the place of an outlet that has sort of that button. But they all basically work the same. You have a test button. That test button is going to trip this breaker, and that's going to test it, make sure that that interrupt is working. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is a tripped breaker, okay? And any one of these breakers will react the same way. It won't go to the off position like that. It goes to this center position, and that means that that breaker is tripped, not turned off. Now, if you get a breaker that's tripped, you can come in, you can turn that breaker off, and then turn it back on again, okay? That's going to restore power. Now, if you turn that breaker off and it trips again, then you've got a problem. You've got something in the system that's causing that breaker to trip. You need to identify that problem before you go trying to force this thing to stay on. That breaker's telling you there's a problem. So if you have a breaker that keeps doing that, then you need to check it out. Now, like I said, you might have your ground fault interrupts in here that might go to your bathroom or your kitchen or maybe your outside outlets. They're going to do the same thing. It's just that if you lose power out there, you're going to have to come to your panel and reset that breaker. Now let's take a look at your outlets that have the GFCI connected to it. All right, guys, so here's your typical GFCI breaker. You can see it has a test button that has tripped this outlet. Now there's no power if you plug something in. Simply reset it by pushing the reset button, and that'll reset it. You can see the light comes on. Now, the thing that I run into quite often with homeowners is what they don't know is that this GFCI breaker doesn't just run this outlet. It's connected to multiple different outlets that are strung to it. So this one particular runs two outlets that are outside. You might have two of these in your kitchen, but they should be connected to all the outlets in your kitchen. Same thing with your bathrooms. Like your powder room, you might have a downstairs powder room and it just has a regular outlet, but somewhere it's connected to a GFCI outlet. And if there's no power in there, you have to find that outlet. And then you can usually just reset it, and that takes care of the problem. All right, guys, so those are the most common things that I run into that I find that homeowners didn't know, but would have helped them a lot if they had known it sooner. So hopefully that helps you out. Now you know. Here's to a healthy home.